Away from the UK to the US, where the partial government shutdown has entered its 25th day and there seems to be no resolution in sight. President Donald Trump is adamant on his border wall demand and the Democrats are firm on not giving in. President Trump is set to meet members of Congress at the White House in a short while from now, and he is scheduled to hold the lawmakers for lunch, but it's unclear who all will be in attendance. Hours before that meeting, Donald Trump used his favorite tool to take aim at the Democrats, Twitter. He tweeted, and I quote, "Why is Nancy Pelosi getting paid when people who are working are not?" In another tweet, Donald Trump defended his demand for the border wall and the funding needed for it. He tweeted, and I quote again, "A big new caravan is heading up to our southern border from Honduras. Tell Nancy and Chuck that a drone flying around will not stop them. Only a wall will work. Only a wall or a steel barrier will keep our country safe. Stop playing political games and end the shutdown." We have Kate Fisher, our correspondent, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Kate, we are heading up to an important meeting. Talk to us. What's the mood like over there in Washington?
Yeah, that's right. In around 45 minutes from now, we expect some members of the Democratic Party to go to the White House to have lunch with President Trump. Now, these aren't the leaders of the Democratic Party like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer that you just referred to there. They have been the people that have been leading the negotiations, if you can call them negotiations, so far with the president. Instead, Mr. Trump has invited rank and file Democrats, some of them freshmen. This is their first time in Congress. Some of them from districts that he carried during the 2016 presidential election. The reason we understand behind his decision to invite these kind of less important, if you like, Democrats is because he's trying to find another way to persuade the party to bend to his demands. Those negotiations, very short negotiations with the party leadership, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, have not brought any kind of compromise. So his tactic is to try to speak to the rank and file members of the Democratic Party. Having said that, we don't actually know who has been invited to this lunch because the White House has not told us, although journalists have been asking questions, have been asking for the guest list all morning. We still don't know who is going to that lunch, but certainly this is another round, another attempt to try to find some kind of agreement over this issue that has caused the partial shutdown of the federal government now, as you say, for 25 days.
Kate, if it is a means to find a resolution, he hasn't really set the tone for it, has he, Trump? Because the tweets have been taking aim at Democrats repeatedly and making it clear that it is the wall or nothing.
That's right. When I say they're looking for a compromise, perhaps I am being overly optimistic. There seems to be absolutely no chance of them finding agreement anytime soon. Both sides, the two sides are diametrically opposed to one another. There doesn't appear to be any middle ground at the moment. The country is kind of getting used to the fact that many of the federal services it relies on are not working. Things like the TSA, the security agents working in the airports, they are not getting paid at the moment. And many of them, because of that, are simply not turning up to work, which means there are huge queues, huge lines in airports as passengers wait to have their bags checked. Other things like mortgage deals are not going through because the agency that deals with them is also shuttered. So there are lots of ways where not just those workers who are directly affected who are not getting paid, other people, other Americans are also starting to feel the pinch of this shutdown. Yet despite that, neither side seem willing to give in.
Kate Fisher there, joining us live with an update straight from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Kate.